Have you ever just watched a river? The way it moves. Near its source, up in the mountains, it's wild, it's fast. It rushes over rocks. But what happens when it gets closer to the ocean? It slows down. It gets wider. It becomes calm. What if a human life follows the same path? Think about it. The shifts you're feeling right now, that change in what you care about, that new quietness inside, what if that's not you getting older or losing interest? What if that's just your river getting wider, calmer, preparing to meet the great sea? The old wisdom traditions didn't talk about life like a test you have to pass. They saw it as a natural journey, a returning. And this journey has its own seasons, its own signs. They're not about an end in the way we think. They're about becoming whole. It's about a life that has learned what it needed to learn and is now settling into a deep, beautiful peace. Some people feel these changes and they find a kind of quiet joy in them. Others fight it. They feel lost. They wonder, why don't the old things excite me anymore? Why do I just want to be quiet? So, here's a simple question for you. Have you been feeling this? A shift inside you that's hard to put into words. Because if you have, listen closely. You are not losing your way. You might just be finding it. You might be approaching the most natural, peaceful return a life can make. If this idea speaks to something quiet inside you, there are many of us walking this path together. Consider joining this community by subscribing. We're simply observing the deeper currents of life. Let's walk through 9 of these signs. 9 simple observations that show your life might be finding its way to the ocean. First, you start looking inward, not outward. Think of a big, old tree in the late fall. All year it reached out for the sun, for the rain. But now, it pulls all its energy back into its roots. It lets its leaves go. The tree isn't giving up. It's gathering its essence for what comes next. Have you noticed this in yourself? The constant noise of the world, it just seems less interesting now. Career goals that used to drive you now feel a bit empty. A loud party might sound exhausting, but a quiet walk in the woods, that sounds perfect. This isn't sadness. It's not a sign you're shutting down. It's one of the first whispers that you're entering a different season of life. You've spent a long time reaching out, and now you're beginning the simple, powerful journey of coming home to yourself. The things that used to seem so important just don't. Your focus is shifting from doing more to simply being more. That is a profound change. If you feel this pull, type in the comments below. I welcome the quiet within. Let this be a sign to yourself that you are honoring your own journey. Second, you start to see the person, not just their story. Have you had this happen? You're looking at someone you've known your whole life. A parent, a child, a close friend. And suddenly, for a moment, you see past all the arguments, past all the old hurts and disappointments. You just see them, the real person underneath it all. And you feel this deep, quiet love. Ancient wisdom teaches us that the connections between us are like the deep roots of a forest. On the surface, we are all separate trees, but underground, we are all connected. As your life settles, it's like you start to feel those roots for the first time. The small things that bothered you for years, they just seem to fall away. Why? Because you're seeing the deeper connection that was always there, under the noise of everyday life. This is a beautiful sign of a heart that is becoming whole. Third, there's an urge to put things in order. Imagine you were preparing your home for a long, peaceful winter. You wouldn't leave things a mess, would you? You'd tidy up. You would fix what's broken. You'd make things right. You might be feeling a gentle push to do the same thing inside yourself. That difficult conversation you've been putting off for years, suddenly it feels important to have it. Not to win an argument, but just to find peace. That old grudge you've been carrying, it starts to feel heavy. Too heavy to carry anymore, and you just want to set it down. This isn't a coincidence. From deep observation, we find that a life moving toward wholeness naturally seeks harmony. You're simply cleaning your inner room. You're settling your accounts, not with others, but with yourself, so you can rest unburdened. If you've been feeling a pull towards this kind of deep resolution in your own life, it's a wonderful thing. When you acknowledge this inner tidying, it can bring a powerful sense of clarity. But as this peace grows, something else can happen that might surprise you. Fourth, memories start to feel closer. This one is interesting, and many people notice it. People you've loved and lost, they might start to feel closer. Not in a scary way, more like a vivid dream you can't shake. Or you'll smell a scent that instantly brings your grandmother back to the room. A song plays, and for a moment, a lost friend is right there with you. Think of it like this. When the river gets wide and calm, the separation between one drop of water and the next seems to fade. In the same way, the hard line between your present and your past can soften. These aren't visitors from somewhere else. They are parts of your own life, your own love, flowing within you. It's nature's way of offering comfort, a reminder that connections of the heart don't simply end. Fifth, you feel a gentle pull towards stillness. Have you ever felt truly homesick? Not for a place, but for a feeling of quiet, of peace, of belonging. As you walk further on your path, you might feel a growing pull toward that kind of stillness, that feeling of home. Meditation is no longer a chore, it feels like coming home. Sitting in silence is no longer boring, it's deeply refreshing. A walk in nature isn't just exercise, it feels like you're talking with an old friend. This isn't you trying to escape the world. Actually, it's the opposite. It's your inner compass finally pointing you toward your true center. The world is loud. Your spirit is quiet. You are simply learning to listen to the quiet. Sixth, your heart seems to have more room. Our hearts are like containers. For a long time, it might feel like they only have room for our family, our tribe. But life has a way of softening the walls of that container. And you may have noticed this happening. You feel a deep empathy for people you've never even met. The news of suffering in a faraway place truly touches you. You see a struggling animal and your heart aches. This isn't you becoming weak or overly emotional. In fact, it is a sign of immense inner strength. A tree doesn't just care for the branch it's on. Its roots support the whole forest. You're starting to feel that. The illusion that we are all separate begins to gently dissolve. It's a deep, quiet understanding that we are all connected in this journey. Seventh, you find that things just make sense. This one can be subtle. You're not trying to solve a puzzle. You're not reading a book about it. But suddenly, an old question in your life just has an answer. A clarity appears where there used to be confusion. You just get it. It doesn't feel like you learned something new. It feels more like you remembered something you already knew, deep down. The old teachers would say that true wisdom doesn't come from gathering more and more information. It comes from becoming quiet enough to finally see what's been there all along. You're not gaining new powers. Your own mind is simply becoming as clear as a calm lake. And in that stillness, you can see all the way to the bottom. Eighth, you begin to hold things more lightly. Think about holding a small bird in your hands. If you squeeze too tight, you hurt it. If you hold it too loosely, it flies away. There's a perfect way to hold it, a gentle, open hand where it feels safe. You might notice you're starting to hold your whole life this way. Your job, your possessions, even the people you love. The love is still deep. The care is still there. But the anxious grip, it's loosening. You're less rattled when things don't go your way. You understand, deep in your bones, that everything changes. Nothing is permanent. And there is a strange freedom in that. Friends might think you don't care anymore. But it's not that. It's that you care in a wiser, more peaceful way. You are learning to love without needing to possess. And that brings us to the final observation, the most peaceful one of all. Ninth, there's a quiet stillness at your very core. Imagine a very deep, clear lake. On the surface, the wind can make ripples. Storms can pass over. But if you go deep enough, it is always perfectly still. You may have started to notice this place inside of you. Life still happens. There are challenges. There are frustrations. There's bad traffic. But underneath it all, there's a part of you that remains untouched. Calm. It's a deep sense that, no matter what happens on the surface, everything is fundamentally okay. This peace isn't something you create, it's something you discover. It's the ground beneath your feet that was there all along. It's the bedrock of your own being. It is the sign of a life that has found its way. Seeing these signs in your life can change everything. That feeling of restlessness, that shifting of what's important, that quiet pull you couldn't explain. Maybe these aren't problems to be solved. Maybe they are just markers on a beautiful, natural path. If you see yourself in these descriptions, you are not lost. You are connecting with the deep rhythm of your own existence. But here's the most important thing. This isn't about guessing when your journey will end. It's about understanding the journey itself. Some trees live for hundreds of years after they've reached their full, magnificent height. Their purpose shifts from growing to simply being, providing shade, offering wisdom, being a home. If your river is calming and widening, the wisest thing you can do is flow with it. Don't fight it. Spend more time in silence. Let go of the things that feel heavy. Say the words that need to be said. Simply allow yourself to become who you are becoming. What you have lived through has been magnificent. Every challenge has carved you. Every love has smoothed you. You have done the work. If you are ready to continue this journey of inner clarity, this is a good place to be. Subscribe, and let's walk this quiet path together. This is just the beginning of understanding. The final gift is simple peace. As we finish, let this one thought settle. You did not come to this life just to struggle. You came to learn, yes, but also to give. Every single lesson you learned, every act of kindness you offered, it was a gift to the world. If your life is showing these signs of becoming whole, it means you have offered your gift. Your part in the great song has been sung beautifully. The quiet you may be feeling now is not emptiness, it's fullness. It is the profound peace that comes from a life fully lived. Rest in that knowledge. Trust the unfolding. Whether your path from here leads to more years of quiet service or a peaceful return to the great ocean, it is all part of a perfect, natural flow. Your soul knows the way home. Just trust its wisdom. The journey has been beautiful, and what awaits is a peace you can't even imagine.